Hey, look, it's a non-RPG Maker character challenge run. I've gained back my credibility, right? Damn. Well, I might as well make it up to everyone since the original run I was planning, that being the sequel to the Buckets run, wasn't exactly good. I honestly felt the pacing was god awful, and the fact that the run felt like a slog when I reached Lonesome Road, and especially Dead Money. But I'll make it up to everyone sometime in the future. But enough about the future. Let's talk about the now. Sports. More specifically, sports equipment as weapons and armor. As expected from any post-apocalyptic media, using things like baseball bats as weapons or wearing football pads and helmets for protection is commonplace, and the same is true for the Fallout series. Heck, two major factions use sports equipment for their gear, although I'd say Fallout 4 has the better selection when it comes to weapons. Still, Fallout New Vegas has a good handful of sports-related items, so the real question would be if I could beat the game with them. Well, let's find out. So, what do we have at our disposal? Well, we have the baseball bat, the pool cue, the 9-iron, the boxing items, and throwing hatchets, plus their unique counterparts. I will also bend the rules and count throwing spears as javelins in the same way that Nurbit did for the Alphabet Challenge, because variety is the spice of life, and I'm not allowed in the kitchen, especially after the incident. I can still hear their screams. Armour will be limited to the hockey mask and most Legion stuff that isn't too far from its original parts. I'm looking at you two. But enough about rules and technicalities. Let's get to the run already. Strength, endurance, melee, unarmed, repair, skilled, and hot-blooded. That's all you need to know for my created character, besides the fact that his name is Spoats. So now that our character is built, what are we going to do for our weapons? Well, if you look at this map here, here are the locations of most sports weapons in the game, and if you look down here, you'll notice that a good chunk of them are in the starting area of the game. So we don't have to worry about weapons, at least for now. And with the Courier Stash DLC, we have access to a nice supply of throwing spears as well. So, whilst we start Ghost Town Gunfight by chucking a spear into Joe Cup's skull, let's go over our game plan. The problem with this run is the same as most melee runs. No good armor, poor range, and large groups of melee enemies. The first problem can be fixed by building up a decent reputation with the Legion and getting access to their safe house, as we'll find a free set of Praetorian armor. I could wear the hockey mask, but the veteran's helmet will provide better protection, plus it's a baseball helmet, so, it counts towards the rules. Also, getting perks like Toughness and Stonewall will help quite a lot. Groups of melee enemies can be handled if I get perks like Piercing Strike and Unstoppable Force, although they still will be a pain in the ass to deal with. As for range, we'll just hope we can get a decent amount of throwing spears from dead legionaries. So, with the gangers dead and 4 of our weapons acquired, I follow along Benny's trail for once instead of taking the Black Mountain shortcut. After all, that's where most of my gear is. First off is Prim. Killing the NCR soldiers stationed around the area is not only a decent way for me to get experience, but also a good way for me to start collecting dog tags for Legion rep. I decided that it was for the best that I ignore the base and Steve, and instead continue on the path towards Neptune, since I do remember there being a dead Legionnaire I could steal the clothes off of. Plus, on the way I could steal some more dog tags from the NCR station to the Mojave outpost. Here's a hint, by the way. If you're looking for NCR dog tags, all of the unnamed soldiers have them. None of the named NPCs have dog tags. After playing baseball with a family of ants, I run into what would have been a hard roadblock, the Jackal Ambush. First attempt made me realise that for some odd reason there were more jackals here than in any other playthrough. The other problem was that there were not only a lot of them, but a good amount of them had melee weapons, turning the encounter into a really bad version of COD Zombies. Second go around, I unlocked the power of my stand and remembered that I do have healing supplies and I can use them. I kill Swanwick because it's not a New Vegas run without most of the casualties being Yuri Lowenthal, and grab the Legion recruit armor from a nearby ash pile. It's not much, but 5DT is 5DT. I continued on, selling some items to the twin travelling merchants before something clicked and made me realise something. This scripted sequence is a gold mine. And sure enough, after a very one-sided fight, I end up with a lot of Legion armor to improve my own, a recruit helmet, and a big pile of throwing spears. Overall, a good haul. On to Novak I went, and thank God for the auto-run key, because most of New Vegas is walking in a straight line with nothing happening. And I could be writing the script of this video in the time it takes for me to go places. But, now that we're here, we make the biggest upgrade of the run. With my Excalibur acquired, I head on down to Nelson to help Dead Sea with his little stalemate. I mean, he says it's not a stalemate, but I know one when I see one. So I waltz on over to Camp Forlorn Hope and proceed to give the enemies there the old Negan special, accidentally goof up my aspect ratio, and walk away with a fat 62 dog tags. After flexing my superiority in strength on Dead Sea and getting a knife for it, I fix my aspect ratio and head on down to Boulder City to help the Great Cans, get more tags, and pick up one dosage of turbo before I make it down to Vegas. Micker the Gunrunner sadly don't have any of the other baseball bat mods, but Gloria the Silver Rush does. And after having teleported back to Novak to wait 3 days, killing Malcolm Holmes for interrupting me, and doing the vendor circuit, Gloria once again came in clutch and had the last weapon mod. You guys can live. Just this once. With our weapon now fully upgraded, I head on over to Cottonwood Cove to cash in my tags so I can get the armor. You can pass a 35 bar skill check with a Relays of Phoenix to exchange dog tags for items instead of caps. It's best to do this, as if you trade 5 tags for 1 food item, it also gives 12 Legion rep. And by the end of my trading, I was carrying an entire goddamn barbecue in my back pocket. Benny thought he could give me the slip, but what he didn't realise is that he accidentally left pool cues in the presidential suite, like an absolute jackass. So, that ended about as well as you expected. But, continuing back to Cottonwood Cove, I get the safe house key from Lucius, get exploded by a turret, activate the Securitron army, and slowly punch Benny to death. And now that I'm free to leave, I head on by the Legion safe house to grab the Praetorian armor, which I must say looks quite cool. Aesthetics really are the only thing I like about Caesar's Legion. But, with a lot of spare items to sell, I head on down to the medical clinic to buy some implants, stock up on stims, and head back to Cottonwood Cove for one final thing.
You're all losers. Knucklehead ain't even worth the effort. Hey, Knucklehead, I'm talking to you. You morons are about to catch a real beat.
After having slaughtered the Legion, getting more armor to repair my own, and finally getting some decent headgear, I head on back to the house to give him the chip, watch his little presentation, and started to get the help of some other factions. First on the to-do list is the Bimmers, who, after making me waltz through an artillery barrage, I beat the snot out of their leaders and stole a snow globe. Mr. House was not pleased, but if he has a problem with that, he can suck it up. And after doing what is expected of every New Vegas player when they enter Gamora, I get enough XP to get Piercing Strike and have reached the requirements to get Unstoppable Force, which is good timing, since my next target is the Brotherhood of Steel. I decided it would probably be a really good idea to stock up on some more healing items, and even try to scrounge up some loose bits of jet and purified water to make some rushing water. So that would mean having to head back to the Bison Steve to deal with the convicts, head to McCarran to steal some free meds and drugs they just have lying around, and head to the Mojave Outpost to get some more XP. It was also at this moment that I remembered Crazy existed, so it's only like a minute away from the Hidden Valley bunker, so, And after having phased through the back entrance like that one Homer gif, I beat Tabitha to death and saved Raoul, because I really needed someone who can repair my armor. Would any of you believe me if I said the Brotherhood went insanely well? Like, I expected to die at least once, but nope, apparently my current setup has a whopping 24 damage threshold, basically turning the Brotherhood's weaponry into Nerf guns. So, after reporting my first actual success to Mr. House and being unable to protect the President, I head on over to the substation, which is one of the most boring objectives in my opinion, and finally head on to the second battle. Oh wait, fuck, I forgot to repair my aims. Let me just talk to Raoul, and now I head on to the second battle of Hoover Dam. I forgot to start my recording until I was already in, so sorry about that, but no one really cares about the final fight unless it's the final fight, and to be honest, I can understand that. So I juiced up on all the chems and healing items that my little body could handle, and I just started swinging as fast as I could. And because of that, I nearly ended up killing Lanius in seconds, really only being stopped by the large number of legionaries I forgot to deal with. But because of my baseball bat's increased chance to activate Super Slam, we hit a home run with the Legate, hit another home run with General Oliver, and I finish the run. So, can you beat New Vegas with only sports equipment? Well, yeah, duh. The baseball bat is a surprisingly good weapon with a fast swing speed, and the Legion gear is alright, but it breaks after every fight. Really, I would just recommend trying out the baseball bat. But that will be it for my first non-character based run. I have a toss-up on what the next challenge run will be, but at least 3 of them will be using guns. So, thank you all for watching. My name is Buck Taylor, and have a good week.